So now that the chairman of the House Intelligence Committee, Devin Nunes, has recused himself from the Russia investigation, former House Intel chairman Mike Rogers is calling on the committee's top Democrat, Adam Schiff, to step aside. He writes in a new CNN op-ed, both Nunes and Schiff are equally to blame for the committee's loss of focus. How can a committee, which handles sensitive classified information, conduct its business when the purportedly secret information is even discussed, even by insinuation, publicly, in front of the media? Joining me now is Democratic Congressman from Illinois, Mike Quigley. He's a member of the House Intel Committee. Nice to have you here, and let's just begin with that. Is Mike Rogers right? I mean, he used to run this committee, granted, a Republican, but he says it was the right thing for Nunes to go, and now he says Schiff should recuse himself as well.
Yeah, I remember someone telling me everything I learned in kindergarten. This is the oh yeah response from the former chairman of the committee. Quite honestly, just as everyone is talking about resetting, getting this committee moving together, moving past everything that's taken place, Mr. Rogers finds time to put an op-ed like this. It is really a shame. In all fairness, the ranking member has been the adult voice in the room among all the members, very calm and resolute. And quite honestly, he's not the one who canceled the public meeting or talked about wiretapping in Trump Tower or used Miss Yates or Miss Davids.
But Congressman, he did come out and talk a lot about this investigation as it's really just in the early stages. He came to the phones and Adam Schiff said, you know, there is more than just circumstantial evidence here against the Trump administration in terms of those alleged ties to Russia, but then didn't say what he was talking about. I mean, is he not partly guilty of this too?
And not at all. Here's what he's responding to: distractions of just monumental distractions, and trying to get this move forward. We don't move forward. We don't get the scope of the investigation to the degree it is now without public pressure. Unless the ranking member and others step forward and talk about why this matters, talking about beyond circumstantial evidence that there was cooperation with the Russians.
Why should anyone, Democrat or Republican, leading this independent investigation, such an important investigation, why should they talk, you know, publicly at all in the middle of it, frankly? I mean, you can call the witnesses that you guys want to call and hear from. Why does it behoove anyone to hear incrementally this drip, drip?
I don't think it's incremental. I think what you're missing here is we can't schedule public meetings or even private ones. The majority can, and only they can. So when they canceled the public meeting with Brennan, Clapper, and Yates, someone had to tell the American public. If there isn't a pushback, again, from the American public, through the media, through the press, nothing gets done. When we talked about the scope of this investigation, at the Senate side, and then it had to be repeated on the House side, Republicans wanted a far more limited investigation. Without people like the ranking member stepping forward and talking about how serious this is, they don't change the scope. And we aren't even looking at whether there was collusion or not.
Do you believe, would you like to hear from former National Security Advisor Susan Rice to talk about the unmasking, which I know you will note, correctly so, that unmasking is her former role, not illegal. But are there questions that you want to ask her?
I think anyone who has relevant information should step forward. I don't think anyone should be discouraged if the other side wants to hear their testimony, because I don't want to be accused of doing the same thing that anybody else is doing. Bring them all forward. Let's listen to everyone. Let's follow the facts wherever they take us. And clearly, unmasking is not surveillance. Unmasking is not leaking. And if we want to get to the bottom of that, I'd respectfully ask the President of the United States to declassify that entire body of information. So again, the American public knows what happens. Let's reschedule that open hearing so again, all the information you're talking about can come forward.
Congressman, quickly before I let you go, I just want your take on in the wake of the airstrikes in Syria by the Trump administration. You were one of the few voices in 2013 after the chemical weapons attack to call on your fellow members of Congress, Democrats and Republicans, to take a vote for the authorization of the use of military force. You know, a number of people looking back on that would say that Congress shirked its responsibility to put their name on this, to be willing to go that far. What are your thoughts now? I would assume you want to see Congress take a vote on that.
Yeah, I think Congress should put its votes where its mouth is. I see a lot of people who play both ends. They bluster and talk about strong responses, and then they see the poll, most Americans don't want any American troops there, and they say, well, we won't have to take a vote. Constitutionally, it's our responsibility. Whatever it is we decide to do, it should be a public debate and a vote so the voters know exactly where you stand on this issue.
All right, Congressman Mike Quigley, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, well.